first thing first, you know, I told y'all this before. I'm not a daily update type of person, but I'm going to give you the weekly update on this YSL trial. This thing is just took a turn for the crazy. It was crazy already. We was calling it the YSL circus and all that. Now this thing just then went off the rails, man. First of all, shout out to YFN Lucci, who took a plea deal this week and was given pretty much like a 20-year sentence, 10 years to do probation, and then 10 years to do in prison. But since he's been locked up in the county system so long, a lot of that time is pretty much double. So he's about to come home, pretty much be eligible for parole in 3.5 months.
Hey, I call that's that Rice Street special, man. If you've been to Fulton County, man, if you know, you know.
So this would let me know, right? And this to me is tied to this YSL trial. Even though they are enemies, their trials ain't supposed to be tied together, but it's tied together because it's letting me know Young Thug, Brian Steele, and that team of lawyers is whooping the state's ass right now.
Yeah, for sure.
They is tapped out. They thought they was going to be able to prosecute all these freako cases at the same time as trying to prosecute Trump in an election year where he got $1 billion. All his homies got billions of dollars. They thought they was going to be able to do all this at one time. And YSL is making them look crazy right now. So what's going on is the week started out pretty much finishing up on the cross-examination from the defense attorneys, right? The judge was completely sick of Brian Steele. They got like Brian, he was done with Brian Steele. So they finally moved on to the other defense attorneys. They started cross-examining Trontavious Stevens, right? YSL Tick or YSL Slug, whatever one you want to call him. They pretty much made the state look crazy. They let us know that so again, Fonnie Willis was putting out all this information about YSL and all this, like making Thug look like a crime boss and all that. We find out again, one of these conversations that they're talking about, bring me all the money, is about rent money. Because these dudes were staying in one of Young Thug houses and they wasn't paying rent. So he said,
some bills, man.
He said, bring the money to me and I'm gonna handle it. Like, so they was in a like an Instagram group chat arguing about this rent money. But the state tried to paint it like they was talking about something else. With the whole conversation, if you only look at one part, it could look like that. But if you look at the whole conversation,
that's crazy.
They arguing about rent money. So the fact that we talking about a case like this, massive case, like I keep saying, it's the biggest case in Georgia history, biggest criminal case in Georgia history, and they got like we come into court to find out that these people are charging them over conversations about rent money and stuff like that.
Do the dash.
This is real stupidity right now.
Thug from the skate, boy.
This is real stupidity right now. So what's going on is Trontavious Stevens did what he did. He got up there and just gave the performance of a lifetime. You understand? The prosecution was completely done with him. He's their witness, but they completely done with him. They asked him 5 questions. The first 5 questions, when the prosecutor Love, she got up there. First 5 questions let it be known she was done with him. This is like when the CIA or whatever, they got a secret operative, and they're like, he got discovered or he failed the mission, so we got to burn him and get rid of him. This is what they did with him. They said, okay, you did this to us. Now we're going to make sure before you leave out this courtroom, we're going to make sure you're a snitch, and then we done with you. The first 5 questions was, are there Crips in YSL? He said yes. They said, is Gunna a Crip? He said yes. They said, is Duke a Crip? He said yes. They said, is Gunna's real name Sergio Kitchens? He said yes. They said, is Duke's real name Martinez Arnold? He said yes. So those 5 questions had nothing to do with nothing else except the fact that they tried to make it seem like YSL was just a blood-affiliated gang. And the defense attorney spent a lot of time focusing on the fact that if they were such a blood-affiliated gang, why do they wear all this blue? They use C's all the time. Then the state was coming back to say, actually, y'all have Crips in the gang too. So that kind of throws the state's whole argument away that this is like a blood gang. Because that's what they kept on saying. They showed the whole first part of the direct examination of Trontavious Stevens was a bunch of blood imagery, them showing him wearing red a lot, them throwing up sex, money, murder, gang signs, all that type of stuff. They made it hardcore stance saying that YSL is a blood affiliated thing. Now they come back to Trontavious Stevens on a redirect and start out by saying, no, y'all have Crips too. Y'all do the Crip thing, right? So this let me know they was done with Trontavious Stevens. They almost seemed like they're done with the case. They just wanted to make sure he left as a snitch. And because, if you go up in court and say this person is a Crip, you understand? Like, that's telling.
Trying to make sure you can't walk the yard.
Yeah. But he free. So they're trying to I think what they want to do is They want to make sure that
gonna get out.
He already been out. He took a deal already. That's why he up. So this is why he. So you ain't
doing all that from behind.
So you ain't tapped in with the case like that. Let me put you up on game right quick. Right. This was happening. This dude is a co-founder of YSL.
Yeah, I know
He's the star witness though. They needed him. They thought when they got him to sign that deal, they needed him to tell everything.
So as soon as he got the deal, he got out.
Yeah, like all of them. They all took, all the ones that took deals all got out immediately. The thing about it is, in his deal, he had to admit to a lot of stuff. Was one thing he wasn't admitting to, or one thing they didn't put in the deal, was him specifically saying, I saw Jeffrey Williams do XYZ. So in his deal, it just says like, it looks very explicit and it looks very direct. But really, the way he played it is not direct at all. It's a bunch of vague stuff.
Yeah, he
stuff
was
like
able to satisfy the.
Yeah, so he made sure that when he went up in court and testified, he adhered to his plea deal, but he also didn't tell on nobody that's on trial right now. So he played a cold game, and he won. However, it's one thing you could outsmart them, but the problem is they still have the power because a probation violation is so tricky. You know what I'm saying? They don't really need nothing to violate you.
Yeah.
So
He changed that law, by the way. We need
this is the thing about Georgia is the worst state in the country when it comes to probation. If y'all didn't know that, that's not me saying that. That's documented. There's civil rights groups fighting against the state of Georgia right now because of their probation laws. It's really crazy. They said I seen a stat one time that says something like 30% of the black people in Georgia are on probation. That's crazy. That's unreal.
That's a crazy number.
So, yeah, so anyway, he got up in there, he did his thing, he made sure he understood his plea deal to the T, and he understood I can say this on the stand and I can't say this on the stand because my plea deal says things like, do you have personal knowledge of YSL members committing crimes in the furtherance of a gang, right? So something like that on paper looks like, oh, this dude is telling crazy. But when he got on the stand, what he said was, I'm a YSL member, and I know that I committed crimes in furtherance of the gang, so that's me. I did that, yeah, so of course. Yep.
And he already got like immunity.
He already got immunity, essentially, because he took the deal. Yeah. He already got immunity, and the thing about it is, too, I don't know if I said this before, I'm pretty sure I did, most of the crimes that these people are being charged with now in this RICO case are crimes they already been charged and convicted of or beat so back years ago. So they're using them again as if they have some new crimes going on, but really, only thing he's going up there and saying is stuff like, well, yeah, y'all caught him with drugs. So, yeah, he did that. Y'all caught him already. He's not saying nothing new, though. He's not giving them nothing new. He's not giving them nothing on Young Thug. He's not giving them nothing on. It's 6 people on trial right now. He hasn't given them a single thing on anybody on this trial. So what's happening now is the state is moving to impeach Trontavious Stevens. Now, what that means is they're impeaching him to say, we need the court to approve the motion to throw out all of his testimony. Just get rid of it because he's not a credible witness and he can't be trusted, pretty much. But he's their witness. They brought him in there. So the fact that they want to impeach him now tells me that their star witness went bad on him. He defected. He beat the system. And now they don't have any control of it anymore. They want to get rid of the whole thing. So it looks crazy because if you've been watching a trial, the defense is saying, why y'all want to impeach him? What's going on? Like, why y'all doing that? Like, keep it. No, keep everything he said. This is good. No, why y'all trying to? And the state is like, no. So essentially what the state is saying is they're not saying that they're using the grounds of the defense is trying to paint the picture and the witness is painting the picture that he signed his plea deal under duress. So they're not saying that he's lying. They're saying that we want to get his testimony thrown out because he is putting it in the jury's mind that he was under duress and he didn't actually mean anything he was saying in that plea deal. And that wasn't factual. So they're like, okay, well, he never said it specifically, but they painted the picture and it will lead the jury to think that because even when I told y'all a few weeks ago that the prosecutor was questioning their witness, Trontavious Stevens, he said something and they objected to him. They objected to their own witness after asking them a question about something that. So what they asked him is, were you pressured to sign this? He said, no, I was persuaded though. And she objected to it, like standing face to face. They probably was 3 feet away from each other when this happened. So that was the beginning of his testimony. So then when the defense got up there, it was Attorney Shard, who was Shannon Stillwell's attorney. He got up there and asked him pretty much, so you signed this deal, right? He like, yeah. He like, is any of this, did you write any of these statements that you agreed to? He was like, no, I didn't write none of that. He's like, would you have said something like in furtherance of the gang? Is that your type of terminology? Would you say something like that? He was like, no, I wouldn't have said nothing like that. He was like, he just pretty much broke down a lot of the terminology in there to say, essentially to paint the picture that this is coercion. This is not even how this man talks. He didn't give these statements. Honestly, these are not his statements. These aren't his words. He wouldn't even have said anything like this.
When you really consider that, not to cut you off, but
go ahead.
No plea deal. Like when you really think, if you're taking a plea, that's coercion. Either you telling me take this or I'm gonna give you this. That's coercion.
That's what Shay was saying too, right? But the difference is when one of us go up in the courtroom and we got to take a deal like that, we don't got $1 million lawyers that's gonna defend us. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Young Thug put together like the criminal dream team.
He got a crazy team.
You know what I'm saying? That team is just the craziest. They up there running the full court press on the state.
I called some of his lawyers before trying to,
I got on Brian Steele. I got on Brian Steele a couple weeks ago because his website is absolutely trash, right? Mm-hmm. But that team, all them lawyers up there, they're not a joke. So everybody who takes a plea deal is pretty much coercion. You saying, yo, you're not gonna let me out unless I sign this deal. Right. All right, I guess. Well, I want to go home to my family. Exactly. Like, let me just sign it. I'll sign it, and like, hopefully, y'all give me a little bit of time if the sentence is not in the plea deal. Right. Essentially, that's what happened. He took that deal, and now they're coming back to say, these are not his words. Y'all hear this man on the stand. He clearly is not intelligent enough to even say any of these things. These are not his words. He was essentially bullied into signing it. And then he was furthermore bullied by, you're doing a testimony, so it's a direct testimony or a direct examination of the witness by the state. And instead of you questioning him about the things that are the facts of the case or whatever, they pull out his plea deal, 35-page plea deal, and make him read parts of the plea deal in front of the jury. As if that's like a bully tactic. So now you make it, you're scaring him into thinking, if you don't answer these questions the way we agreed that you was going to answer them, we're going to put you back in jail for lying. That's also coercion. Whether the state can, whether we can prove it's coercion or not, it don't matter. We know it's coercion, and we don't have the burden of the law to say we got to prove it. All of us as citizens can see what's going on. Y'all bully a bunch of black men into signing deals that they don't want to sign it for information they don't agree with. A bunch of times they don't even think none of this stuff happened. These are y'all words. Y'all saying it happened. Right. Y'all don't have no evidence, so you need witnesses like Trontavious Stevens to tell you what happened.
That's the whole angle of the legal system. You bringing people in and you threaten them with charges in order for information to obtain somebody else legally. That's crazy.
I had said, and I just made a clip. It's going to come out tomorrow on social media. When it comes to a black defendant, they charge you first and they'll investigate it later. When it comes to white defendants, before you become a defendant, before you become arrested, they will investigate it first to see if they should arrest you. And then they arrest you if they find enough evidence. See, black people, they don't even go to find evidence unless you say, I'm taking this to trial. That's when they go start doing all this investigative work and, let me figure out who this was and who that was. And that's why a lot of times you find out they don't even have contact on the witness.
Yeah.
That's how people beat all these charges.
Yeah, facts.
People beat these charges because they can't even find a witness.
That's why I said the right street special, because that's how them cases go.
The reason they can't find a witness is because they never was talking to the witness.
Never.
They just heard some story. They went and arrested somebody and they gave them a deal. Most of the time, you're going to take the deal. The state don't know what happened.
Snatch you up on a humbug, hit you out, any type of...
all the charges.
They'll take one charge if you get caught, well, let's say some weed, and they'll find a way to take this one charge and make it 7 charges.
Mm-hmm. So especially they do, that's the trick right there. Because you got 7 charges now, 3 felonies, 4 misdemeanors, whatever it is. So look,
you take on every one of them.
You take this deal, right? We gonna get rid of 6 of these charges. We gonna leave the 1 felony though, but we're gonna let you out. But you got to be on probation for at least about 2-3 years on the 1 charge we left, which that was a trumped up charge because you really should only have 1 misdemeanor, but they gave you 6, so you had to eat that. And now they're gonna get rid of 6 and leave you with 1. And you think, all right, I got to get up out of here. That's a good deal. They dropped all these charges. Cool, let's just do it. I'm gonna take it. That's what they do in these cases. That's why you see these like wild ass trials and stuff like this where you're like, well, you would think that if somebody's being charged with a murder that the state should have all the evidence they need to convict. They don't be having no evidence, especially in these type of gang cases. If they don't have somebody's telling, they don't have a case at all. Man. That's why this case looks so stupid, because Trontavious Stevens is not giving them what they need. He is the witness that this whole thing was hindered on. I mean, not hinged on, because YSL Woody is also somebody that has a lot of information, and he's willingly snitching. Like, he don't care. The problem is, this is how has been getting out of trouble for a long time. He'll do something, go shoot somebody, then he'll get out by telling on people. So his word is not trustworthy at all. Mm-hmm. They needed Trontavious Stevens to give them this case.
Let's just revisit the whole snitching laws, because how you shot somebody and somebody else got shot, and because you want this person that got shot more than the shooter of this person more than you want the shooter of that person, you gonna let this shooter off of a shooting to catch another person for a shooting. The math ain't mathing, man.
It's not.
It shouldn't even be allowed to snitch. If you ain't had nothing to do with the case, you shouldn't even be allowed to snitch.
The problem is, too many people are okay with incentivized snitching. I shouldn't be able to tell to get out of something. If I'm telling, I'm just telling. I shouldn't get a lower sentence because I told, though.
You still a serial killer. Like, what?
They done let Alpo out of prison with 14. He admitted to 14. Ain't no telling how many he really did.
Ain't that why y'all say felons can't hang with other felons? Because y'all say we all hang around each other. You think if I'm a murderer or any type of criminal, I don't know other criminals and their activities? Of course. Every criminal knows something they can tell on. So that's to incentivize that and let them back out because they told. That's crazy. Especially
with some of the crimes that we talking about. So if you really think that they did that, then why you putting them back out in society? If you really think they did it.
Trying to get some stars and stripes, man. Y'all ain't trying to really clean the streets up.
It's all about conviction rates, and that's why these gang cases fall apart. So now they fall apart. The only time they are held up is because somebody telling. They rarely ever have evidence. They rarely have a camera footage saying that, that's clearly him on camera right there. They rarely have the victim actually showing up saying that was for sure him. It be the friend group. Yeah. Somebody in the friend group, the one that's giving up all the info. If they don't do that, there's no case.
And see, people need to pay attention to the outcome of this situation, because if something is to come about of them saying the coercion is valid from his plea deal, that becomes a case law. You know
everything about this case is precedent because it's too.
Now everybody that's not everybody, but a lot of people that's in those same behind the walls or fighting cases, those same situations, based off the outcome of this case, at least in Fulton County, and that especially if you had that same DA,
it's a state case, all of Georgia.
So you're gonna be able to, if they say that was coercion based off, that's the same as any other plea deal. So you'll be able to use that as grounds to possibly reopen your case. So I tell everybody, pay attention. If you got some skin in the game, I advise you pay attention to that.
Thug is a millionaire, multi-millionaire, many-time millionaire, right? Regardless of the outcome of this case, or not regardless, if this case, if Thug loses and has to go to prison, the type of appeals this is going to end up going to the Supreme Court. This is going to be case law, period, everywhere. Yeah. What's going on because of there's too much resources at play here.
The music and the lyrics in court, all of that.
All that. It's a landmark case for sure. 1,000%. And this is going to inform other states on how they should handle gang cases. And honestly, might make other states say, we don't want to deal with that. Because if you out here, you got somebody, they did something, and then they take a deal and then trick you later and not give you what you need at trial, but they do it in a way to where you can't even prosecute them for perjury, you don't want to deal with that because you done spent millions of dollars trying to chase a millionaire and you can't get them. They don't have no real evidence to none of it. They probably, it's not one of them situations where you just know somebody did it, but you can't prove it.
And that's
if you can't prove it, you stuck.
You got to think, right? If Lucci is finna do 3 months, 3.5 months, and
that's
come
the
home.
Crazy one too.
If Lucci was, you know what I'm saying, we know the ins and outs of what was going on with Lucci's situation. Lucci was like red paint, hand in there, called him. You know what I'm saying? So it was like he's finna come home. So you telling me if that wasn't what y'all think y'all finna do with Thug when half y'all case was rap lyrics? You know what I'm saying? Like that y'all case is rap lyrics.
Rap lyrics, and I'm finding out it was rap lyrics
testimony
and Instagram's group chats.
Yeah,
we now finding out was about rent money. And girl, like them was arguing about girls and stuff like that.
Hey man,
come on, man.
Ready to banners, man.
Y'all
they finna come home, man.
Doing a case like this, y'all are just making him more of a legend, especially because it's looking like he's about to beat it.
It's finna be crazy.
So another thing that the state is motioning for beyond that impeachment, they trying to ban the media from recording anymore. And they trying to say like, oh, they putting witnesses in jeopardy or whatever. I don't believe that they're putting witnesses in jeopardy. I believe the state does not want the public to see this anymore.
Yeah.
Because first of all, We in 2024. There's no more keeping the jury out of the media.
Nah.
You can't keep the jury. The jury is going to see what's going on the internet. They're going to see it. There's no more of that. They need to just figure out another way to have some There's no more impartial jury. It just don't make sense. Everybody's going to have an opinion. This is Fulton County. There's probably not a single person under the age of 60 that don't have something that they think about this trial. Everybody has an opinion about this in this area. In the whole Metro Atlanta, you're not going to find nobody that's unbiased one way or the other. You're going to have people that say, lock them niggas up. I don't care what's going on. Lock them up. They guilty no matter what. You have some people, it don't matter what the state say. You're never getting guilty out of them. So this is too big of a case, right? So they're trying to make it seem like the media is putting people in jeopardy. No, I think they don't want people to see how bad they're doing. And especially they don't want it to be like daily news. It's going viral every day. Every day it's on Shade Room, it's on Hollywood Unlocked, it's on all of these. They look crazy.
To the point where they leaking visitation calls.
So that's another thing. So they like he
shows you the corruption in the jail. Now mind you, again, Rice Street Chronicles, bro. Listen, if you know about, listen, them bro, cats be on them same visitations. Should be going bust it open, listen. So if they leaking, mind you, this is what's going on, bro. Like, so this is normal over here. So I don't know, bro. Like he finna come home. I just really hope at the end of all of this, Lucci finna come home. He finna come home. I hope they, you know what I'm saying, cause hope they figure that out.
Lucci for sure coming home because that's a couple months away now. It's looking like Thug gonna beat it. And the only we all know, I'm pretty sure the only thing that's gonna stick is the actual RICO, which that's the one that hold the most time. That's gonna stick just because everybody in those plea deals already agreed that YSL is a criminal street gang. Fair. So it's almost nowhere around it. You just need the murder part to not stick to Thug, and then you just have the RICO. Because now the precedent is set that this RICO thing only comes with probation.
Yeah,
y'all set the precedent on that.
Get a slap on the wrist on that.
You have to, because you done gave 20 people that already.
Yeah.
So even if y'all convict him at trial of that, you gonna he don't have no felonies.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do? You can't. You're not gonna say, all right, we just gave all of the. They're gonna appeal that to hell. You can't give all of these people probation for this RICO and then give one person 10 years. That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So they're gonna and then he been sitting. So time served. He already been a year and a half now.
It's been like 2.
He's gonna get out even with a conviction. He's getting out the next day. So y'all done wasted all of taxpayer money doing this stupid ass trial.
At this point, I think that's all they're doing.
I don't think they have nothing on them. Even the person that they saying with the murder hit was on, the defense already put it into the jury's head. Now they done showed a picture of Thug with the guy and the guy calling him his brother. So Trontavious Stevens was the person that was supposed to tell y'all why they was beefing.
That's crazy.
He didn't tell y'all why they was beefing. Y'all don't know why they was beefing. So you stuck. All right, we done with that, man. We done. Let's move on, man.